part of my job as an environmental scientist, specifically working on mosquitoes, is monitoring mosquitoes in our environments. You'd be pretty familiar with mosquitoes around your backyard on a summer's afternoon when it's just on dusk. A lot of those mosquitoes don't actually come from places like this where you've got wetlands. They actually come from right outside your door. I like the mix of the lab and the outdoors. So I like coming out, collecting specimens, being able to go back into the lab and sit at a microscope and doing some ID or doing setup experiments where you can control variables and you're doing more methodology stuff. One of the main types of traps that we use is this one here, which is called a BG gat trap. Basically, it's a black pot that attracts the mosquitoes because it makes a perfect laying site. So we put a bit of water in the bottom. And they don't like, most mosquito species don't like super clean water. So we just add in a little bit of pet food. We've just got guinea pig pellets. So we just add a few of those in. That just puts some organic matter in the water. So then in the mosquito's mind, if their larvae hatch in there, they've got some food to eat. So to make sure the mosquitoes don't actually get to lay their eggs, we have to set our trap part. So we got this clear bucket and a net, which goes on top. That collects the mosquitoes there, so that sits upside down and sits inside the bucket. Now the mosquitoes can't get through to the water. And to help entice them in, we just add another black funnel because that's a really nice place for them to sit. And we'd normally spray that with a little bit of insect spray that will kill the mosquitoes once they get in there. And then we can collect them in a week when we come back. So let's find a place to set this trap. So when we're trying to pick a place for a trap, we want to pick somewhere that's out of the sun because the mosquitoes will get too hot if it's right in the sun. Sheltered from the wind, and we know there's a lot of mosquitoes around this place, so we should collect a few here. So first we're going to take the top off the bucket, and we can see there we've got quite a few mosquitoes in there, and there's also an ant roaming around in there. So to get those mosquitoes out, we've just got a little toggle here. So we pull the net and loosen it, and then we need to gently remove the bucket without letting the mosquitoes fly away. I can see that's a boy mosquito there with his fluffy antenna. We've got a few girls here. Now we just reset the trap, so we put the net back on. Make sure it's nice and tight by pulling this. Pop it back into the bucket. Make sure you've got enough water in there still. If it's been hot weather, it might have dried out a little. If it's all good, pop your black funnel on top and you're ready to go for another week. Once you've collected your mosquitoes, you place them into this square, take a photograph, and then you can email them in to us at Mozzie Monitors so that we can ID them for you and send you back a report card of what you've collected at your school. In urban and commercial environments, we often have a lot of pots and buckets and other kinds of rubbish laying around that maybe we're not always vigilant about. These containers can store rainwater after it rains, and they make really ideal breeding sites for a lot of our urban mosquitoes. One of the things we can do to help keep those numbers down around our local environments is just to make sure we keep our yards tidy, don't have too many things collecting water around the house, and regularly do a tidy up and check what's around that can collect water. If you're going to come and join us as a Mozzie Monitor, some of the key things to look for when you're setting your traps are, is there some places in your garden that you already know there's a lot of mosquitoes hanging out? You might know just from being out there. Mosquitoes don't like to be out in the wind or in the sunlight where they'll dry out really quickly and then they'll die. They like it in nice bushy areas or under some shade cloth. If you've got a lot of pots in your garden, something near those pots is probably a good spot to start. If you have pets, sometimes near the pets' water bowls or where they sleep, you might find there's quite a few mosquitoes that hang around those spots because they know they can get some water. And your pets might also be a really good blood meal for some of those little girl mosquitoes.